In this video tutorial, I'm going to walk you through the process of navigating the Access OCI portal and writing an effective application for a DMAP project. Once you've logged into Access OCI, you're going to choose your project, and then a screen similar to this is going to appear. At the top of the screen, you can see that there are various tabs such as application information, team information, etc. Each of those requires a bit of work, and I'm going to walk you through each of those. The first tab you're going to work on is called application information, and in there you're going to choose a title for your project. Please note that the name of your company should not appear in the title. It should be a description of your project. In this case, it's automation of manufacturing processes. If you look at the academic institution field, that should be chosen not applicable. And then you want to go ahead and indicate the duration of your project in the duration of project field. For a DMAP project, that is either 1, 2, or 3 months. And then finally, you're going to write what we call a summary of proposal for public release. And in that text box, we would recommend you write one paragraph that describes your company and a second paragraph that describes the project that you're going to undertake. Please note that the public will have access to what you write here. So you want to make sure that you're comfortable with the public seeing this, and you aren't divulging any company secrets in what you write here. As you scroll down on the application information page, you'll notice that there are a number of fields where you're going to need to enter some codes. These are CFI codes and NAICS codes. You may not find a code that exactly matches the industry that your company works in or the exact subject matter of this project, but just do your best to choose categories that fit somewhat. And if you have any questions, you can direct them to your business development manager. When you click on the team information tab, you're going to notice there are some fields here regarding yourself, the primary applicant. Many of these may be already filled in. Please make sure to have a look and make sure that the information is correct and make any revisions where necessary. Further down on the team information page, you'll see a section called Project Contributors. You're going to want to select the drop-down box and choose one as the project contributor. In a DMAP project, the only contributor is the company. The consultant is not considered a contributor. They're not contributing to the budget, so they do not appear here. So just select one, and then go ahead and fill in the fields regarding yourself and your company as the contributor. You'll also see a blue button called Click Here for Company Profile. You can go ahead and click that and then paste that URL into a web page. There's some basic information that you'll fill in regarding your company, the incorporation year, your CRA number is required, how many people work at your company, just some basic information about your company will be entered there. A little further down on the team information page, you'll find a section called Project Team Members. You can go ahead and click that blue button, and what you'll do is enter the people at your company that are going to be participating in this project, and as well you can enter the name of the consultant that is going to be your DMAP consultant for the project. On to the Proposal tab. On the Proposal tab, the first thing you'll see is the need to enter a milestone table. I would suggest talking with your consultant about the milestones for your project. Typically, there are about 3 or 4 milestones. I wouldn't suggest having more than about 4. Enter the milestones into the table, so that includes the activity involved with each milestone, who the team members are that are going to participate. That would be people from the company and the consultant. The expected outcome for each of the milestones. And then in the time frame field, please enter, for example, month 1 to 2 rather than specific months such as February to March. You don't know exactly when the project will be activated, so it's better to put in month 1 to month 2 or month 2 or month 3, etc. Finally, as you scroll down on the proposal tab, you'll see there is a template to download. It's a Word template, and it is the proposal itself, which we'll see in a moment. You're going to fill out that proposal, provide a draft to your business development manager. He or she is going to get back to you with suggested comments and revisions to strengthen it. And then once it's polished and ready to be submitted, you're going to turn that Word document into a PDF and attach it there in step 3 where it says upload proposal. Here I've opened up the Word document that comprises the proposal, and I'll walk through each of the sections that needs to be filled out in the proposal. So first of all, make sure to enter your project title at the top, and it should match what title was provided in the portal. In question 1, SME and current digital tool, we have 2 questions. The first question is where we want you to provide a description of your company, the products and services that you produce. It's important that you provide a really good description. We find that clients often write a very high-level description of the company and its products. It's often difficult to understand exactly what their business is. You need to keep in mind that the people reviewing your proposal may not know anything about your company. And so it's important to write a really good description about who you are, what it is that you do, who your market is, what your product or service is, how long you've been in business, how many employees you have, where you're located, and of course, whether your product is in market or in development. In 1B, you can describe your digital readiness and the tools or software you currently use. What we want to see there is a list of all the software that you currently use and what you use it for. And then finally, we want you to tell us how ready from a digital standpoint do you feel your company is. There is a tool, a self-assessment tool that I'll point out later in this tutorial where you can do a self-assessment and you can put the results there in 1B. Question 2, digital needs. Please describe what areas of your business are currently limited and which will benefit the most from modernization and digital adoption. When you're writing here, I'd make sure to try to be as descriptive as possible. Again, reviewers will not be familiar with your business, so please be as explicit as possible in describing which areas of your business you have pain points in, for instance. And it's always good to provide concrete examples. So if you have issues with your business that where you're not efficient, or perhaps communication with customers is not great, then it's helpful for reviewers if you provide a very specific example of that. 2B, please describe how a DMAP plan will help you with your company's digital adoption. Again, I would try to be specific and clear about what you expect to get out of the DMAP plan. What is it that your consultant is going to help you with exactly? In question 3, we ask about the digital adoption consultant. So 3A, please describe your proposed digital adoption consultant's relevant expertise. Your consultant will often have a boilerplate paragraph or 2 that they can provide to you, and you can paste in there. 3B, we ask, why did you select your proposed consultant and what would be the value of working with them? In here, we want to understand what is it about this particular consultant that caused you to settle on them. Maybe they've worked with your company before, maybe it's particular expertise, or perhaps they've worked with companies that are like yours, but we want you to be specific about why you settled on this particular consultant. Question 4, project plan and team. Describe the high-level strategy and working arrangement that your company has agreed upon with the consultant to develop your DMAP. Please include scope, key activities, and team deliverables. In many cases, your consultant will have provided you with a statement of work that describes the activities and the deliverables that they're going to undertake. And so you can certainly, in many cases, copy and paste into here exactly the activities and scope and deliverables that they are going to undertake. Question 5, outcomes and impact. What are the key outcomes of the proposed project for your company from a technical and business standpoint? Here we're trying to understand what you think the long-term impacts will be of implementing technology. Now, at a DMAP project, the end result is just a report with findings and recommendations. But we want to understand, what do you think will be the impacts on the company in the long term? Will you be able to communicate better with customers? Will you find efficiencies in your processes? If you're a manufacturer, will you be able to produce more, have more throughput, reduce costs? We want to understand what those outcomes are. And then secondly, we want to understand, once you have this report in hand from the consultant, how do you plan to implement it? What are the next steps? How long do you expect it would take to implement? What do you see as the implementation roadmap? In 5B, we want to understand some of the more quantitative impacts that implementing this technology is going to have. So in your DMAP, the consultant will have produced a return on investment section where they describe what they feel is the return on investment from various options that you could pursue. So we want to understand, what's the estimate of the impact on revenues, for instance? Is there going to be an impact on cost? And if so, how much? Are you going to hire people? Likely. Is it going to create jobs? So we're looking for quantitative impacts to your business in section 5. And then in 5C, we asked to describe the benefits of the proposed project to Ontario. And so what we're looking at, what we're looking for here is, are there benefits to this project that extend beyond your company? So for example, are there environmental benefits? Are there any sort of social benefits? Are there benefits to companies that supply to you or other partners that are involved in the value chain? So we want to understand, are there benefits for this project beyond those that would just accrue to you, the company? Question 6, previous and current OCI projects. In 6A, if you have participated or received an OCI grant in the past, then please indicate and describe what that project was about in 6A. If you haven't, then you can just put not applicable. And in 6B, we want to understand if you have been involved in the Canada Digital Adoption Program. Have you been funded by them? Are you currently involved in a project? So please make sure to put the details in 6B. In question 7, the BDC Digital Maturity Report, we'd like you to complete what's known as the BDC's Digital Maturity Assessment. When you complete that assessment by clicking on the blue link, it's going to generate a report in PDF, and you can attach that PDF in the supporting documents section of this application. And if you have completed that assessment, then in 7B, please indicate by clicking in the box. On to the Use of Funds tab. In the Use of Funds tab, we need to have some basic information about the budget for this project. So what you're going to do is click on the blue Add Update Budget item, and you're going to create 2 lines. One line is the OCI portion of the funding, So it's going to be presumably half of the cost of the consultant's fees, up to a maximum contribution of $15,000. So you're going to put in a description, which can be as simple as development of the DMAP, the consultant's name, the source of funds, either OCI or your company. The type of funds is cash. Please make sure under the budget category to select operating expenses, not salaries and benefits. Salaries and benefits are for your employees, and the consultant is not your employee, so it's an operating expense. And then simply the amounts, it should add to the total of the consultant's fees. If you scroll down from the budget, you'll see step 3, budget justification. In there, we want to understand what is the daily or hourly rate that your consultant is charging, and how many hours or days are they working. And that rate times the level of effort should add up to the total budget. So if their budget is $20,000, then the rate times the hours or daily rate should add up to $20,000 as well. They do need to match. You can often get this information from the statement of work that your consultant has provided. Over now to the supporting documents tab. In here, there's a spot where we want you to add the resume or CVs of your employees that are going to be involved in the project and the consultant's CVs. Alternatively, if you don't want to attach CVs, you can create a one-page with LinkedIn URLs for all the people that are involved in the project. In the letters of support section, there is a letter of support that your consultant needs to provide and sign. And there's a template that they can follow. If you just click on the underlined here, it'll open up a Word document. And most of what the consultant needs to write is there. They just need to fill in a bit of detail and sign. And then once they've signed, you can turn it into a PDF and attach it here. Scrolling down just below, you can see there are some sections where you can add additional supporting documents if you wish. So if you have marketing collateral about your company or anything else that you would want reviewers to see, feel free to upload them there. The last tab is terms and conditions. Here, there are a number of checkboxes that you can click, such as conflict of interest, boxes to indicate that you've provided information that is correct and accurate, etc. Once you've clicked those, you're done. You have a first draft together. You can now email your BD and let them know that a first draft is ready for them to review. They'll go in to the application, review it, and they will get back to you with suggested revisions. Once you've done a couple of drafts, your application should be ready to go, and you can submit it in the portal. Your business development manager will go in and endorse it, and then it will go into the queue. That's it. I hope this has been helpful to you.